Hey everybody, I am going live in one of our private virtual classrooms this morning to teach Saturday morning's class so that we don't get behind, especially right now with the energy shifting and changing. I want to make sure that you guys have plenty of new content, and this particular class is probably needed more than anything right now. I asked you guys a question, what was the number one reason that you felt, or challenge that you felt, was keeping you from attending to the Miami event? And 99% of you said money. Some of you said obligation and things like that. And I just want you to understand that I totally understand that it is, life. I just was curious. I was just curious because I believe you all truly deserve to be there. I believe that it's time that you guys have worked so hard that you deserve an easy button, that you deserve a clear body with no fear and no lack in it. And that was the only reason why I was asking, because wild horses would not keep me away from an event like this, even if I wasn't putting it on, because of what an integration it is going to be for us moving into future realities. So I just got done teaching a class in the academy where we brought Frank in and we did a live quantum time travel, kind of, where the phone kept dropping out a little bit. But what I was saying was that the 5D timelines don't exist right now, except the way that you focus and bring energy towards them, which means it's really time for us to create future memories in our vibrational field, which means we've got to create future memories in the body. And if the number one reason why you guys cannot attend this event is money, I'm going to teach this class, and then I'm going to see what comes through as far as offers that I can help you guys with to create either an ease or a flow for you to somehow be there, whether it's virtually or in person, because I believe that all of you guys who have spent any time and any money working in your shadows deserve absolute abundance, because that's what we came here to do. Is we came here to be alchemists, and anyone that dives through their own dirt to find the gold is the true millionaires and billionaires, because the gold is inside of us, and sometimes we just gotta keep digging. So this abundance game is the easiest game in the entire world. I've probably taught this game before in TICA. I cannot find the timeline or the year that I did it, but I think that it needs to be new to our reality, and we need to look at it new, because 5D is the inner child living as if, which means the healed inner child. That's what 5D is. It's the healed inner child. And the inner child is okay with being multidimensional constantly. If you watch children, they're constantly being multidimensional. They're this way with mom, they're this way with dad, they're this way, but they're in the present moment. They're not really changing their state of being to allow you to be comfortable. They're just being who they choose to be, which is where we really need to be as a collective. So the abundance game has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with wealth as far as material possessions, because at the root of money is 4 frequencies. And the 4 frequencies are managing your money flow, your time flow, your freedom flow, okay? Because it's time, freedom, and money that we're using that's the workshop of our realities. We use relationships as the reflection point of those realities, but we're using time to build, and we're using money or abundance to create, okay? And we need the space in order to create those things. So when we're looking at money, and we're looking at why we don't have the money that we need, we've got to look at the 4 frequencies that are actually vibrating, that are holding you in a state of lack around money, okay? And it's really cool because it goes into all of the quantum theories about challenges. You cannot be in the challenge and find the solution for the challenge. So it's almost like you will never find your money solutions by working with money. Never. Because your money issues are not coming from money. Money is the manifestation of the frequency. So if the frequency of money is a projection of 4 particular vibrations that make a frequency, and you're focused on money, which is the manifestation of that, you may increase your flow for a minute, but then you'll go right back to it, which means you might get a lump sum of money and then you'll blow through it real fast and there's nothing coming in on top of it. So it won't solve the problem at the root. We want to get to the root of this problem or this challenge. I like that word way better. Challenge means dual, means I'm going to come together and solve, versus problem that's like, oh, just there's no solution. So in the solution of creating financial abundance for yourself, which should be unlimited, which means your money flow should be like breath, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And the universe is always trying to do that with you, but you don't believe in that. So you're either not accepting your in-breath or you're not expressing your out-breath. You are handling your money flow. You are vibrating your money flow, positive or negatively. And I've done a lot of personal research on this one. This one, I found these 4 frequencies through my own money blocks, okay? So the 4 money blocks are, okay, I am not safe, I am not free, I am not worthy, and I don't deserve, right? So the money frequencies of abundance are, I am free, I am safe, I am worthy, and I am deserving, because the I am is the intention activation. It is the intention of their state of being. So as you're doing your money stuff, so it's like if you're using money in any of your healing modalities as the focal point, you're not going to solve the problem. So if you're tapping for money, it's not going to work. Okay? If you're meditating for money, it's not going to work. If you're, playing the abundance games where you write yourself a check, not going to work. And I know Abraham Hicks and all these spiritual teachers have done that, but that's not the root of the problem. Yes, that may get your subconscious to agree that you could create that much money, but you are constantly demonstrating the opposite by not having that much money. So then it creates kind of a contradiction, and it creates a pissed off inner child. So if I start like writing checks to myself and vibrationally spending all this money, and it feels amazing and I feel very expansive, and I reach this higher state of being, and I'm like, oh, I know this is who I am, and it's awesome. And then I return to my life where I have 2 pennies in my wallet. My inner child is going to be like, you lied to us. Like, you brought us high, and now you're bringing us low. And it actually creates more separation between the inner child and your inner presence, which is kind of like your ego and your I am self. So it's like every time you get yourself really high in a meditation, and then you come back to reality and it's checkpoint of not real, your inner child's like, it's like telling your inner child there's no Santa Claus. Like, we were just high as a kite. The body released oxytocin and we were in ecstasy. And then we came down to your real life and you've been lying this whole time to us, right? That is what my inner child told me when I started playing those Abraham Hicks abundance games. And I realized, I was like, what is the root? And so I did a huge experiment with myself. And I found that every single time that I didn't have money, or that I spent money too quickly, or that, I had it spent before it came in, that it was usually linked with one of those 4 frequencies, because those 4 frequencies are the sabotaging frequencies. Like those 4 frequencies, when you're vibrating that particular character, everything in your reality has to show up as a reflection of those 4 frequencies. It's like if I'm running an I don't deserve program, I'm going to have a lot of shit happen to me that I don't deserve. If I don't feel worthy, someone is going to point that out in my reality. Okay? If I don't feel safe, I'm going to be in a constant state of feeling lack of trust and unsafety. Okay? If I don't feel free, I'm going to manifest that in every corner of my reality. It's like, and it could be the simplicity of you're not free to communicate online with someone because your Wi-Fi keeps dropping, or you're not free to connect with somebody, or you don't have the money to get that service done on your house, right? So it's like you have to look at the tiny nuances of frequency and leave money out of this equation. Like in this, if there was a money equation that was math, it would have nothing to do with money. Money is the equal to these 4 frequencies. This equals mad abundance. So let's take our president as an example, right? Okay, it's a paradox, because, and like I was saying on this radio show last night, or this video show, is I was so confused when I was working to create money, because these books on tape, the Napoleon Hill's, you know, Think and Grow Rich, and all these books that I read like early on were like telling me that as long as I had a really grateful, loving heart, then I would be abundant. And when I looked around my environment, the richest people that I could find were not in vibration with love and gratitude. They weren't. They were not. And I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Like it says, Napoleon said, I have to be in the frequency of love and blah, blah, blah. But if in my vibration, love equals pain, because I've never had love before, and I'm trying to implement love to get money, and love equals pain, do you see how detailed frequency actually works when your state of being is vibrating at the quantum focus? It's like this equals this equals this equals this. That's why I started speaking light language, because I realized money's a trigger, God's a trigger, love is a trigger. All these words that spiritual people are always using is a huge trigger for basically suffering, and you associate it with that, and then you're just like, right? So we need to leave all these trigger terms out of our equation when we're creating money. So we go, okay, I got a money problem, but that's not the root. The root is I don't feel free. I don't feel safe. Okay, I don't feel worthy, and I don't feel deserving. And what I was saying in the TICA class this morning, the academy, is that there's like, it's almost like if the money frequency was a box, and the two that were on top, which was the ones that you are easily able to see through your conscious awareness, it would be free and safe. And the ones that are in the unconscious realm, vibrating at a lower frequency, are unworthiness and undeserving. Right? And that's linked with love, but we don't want to use love in our equation to get money, because you don't actually have to go there. You don't have to go there. You just have to feel those 4 frequencies in your body and believe that you are all 4 of those things. Or if you got 3 that are great and you just got 1, you'll notice as you do this abundance game that has nothing to do with money, which leaves the inner child from thinking you're taking Santa Claus away, you're actually working in the problem to rebuild the foundation of how money is drawn to you and through you, okay? So the first way that we play the money game is we basically like, and you can do this, if you're a vision person, you can do this in your mind. If you're a visual person, you can do this on paper, like make a graph for yourself, and you could even cut out cards if you wanted to go really elaborate. Matter of fact, this is maybe something what one of the TICA students wants to create, and we can, you know, create a PDF or something, and we can pop it online. I know Melanie was asking if we had any abundance games, and at the time I wasn't even thinking of this one, but this one is super powerful. It's like teaching a child to read. It works that fast. It keeps the inner child stimulated, it keeps the ego in control, and it keeps the I am moving towards truth, which is what you need in the unity prospect of the me, myself, and I. These abundance games that we play to write ourselves checks, you're basically destroying your inner child's dreams when she realizes what's actually in your bank account, okay, or him. So 4 boxes, right? You want to put deserving, you want to put worth, you want to put freedom, and you want to put safety, okay? And you can cut them up if you want, or you can just leave them as is, however it is, however your brain works with physical reality, okay? I can do this in my head because my brain is like different. So however you can do it, but I want you to stay focused on it. So sometimes having something tangible that you can read helps keep things in physical reality, okay? So you've got those, right? And then you have this like checklist, and it's literally like playing I Spy, and we're gonna take one at a time. And the first one that we want to take, and it doesn't matter which one you pick, you could literally put them in a hat if you wanted to and pick one. And it may be safety, okay? So say you pick up safety. Now, in that word, it's just safety. It could mean lack of safety, and it could mean an abundance of safety, because it's your 0 point frequency, okay? It is your 0 point frequency. So it is safety. So I would ask yourself in this moment, where do I not feel safe, okay? And if you're really wanting to go fast with this game, I suggest you write these out for yourself. Pen and paper, subconscious dump. Like, Okay, I don't feel safe with my choices right now. I don't feel safe with how my spouse is treating me. I don't feel safe in my home. I don't feel safe with my bank account. I don't feel safe with the job that I'm in. I don't feel safe with my purpose. I don't feel safe with blah, 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 blah. You need to get real specific here. The more specific you are, the more your ego and inner child will start channeling how they actually feel about you. You've got to kind of get that out. And you're going to be like, whoa. And if you have more than five things that you feel unsafe about right now, that is what's going on with your bank account. Okay? 5 things. Now, if you got one thing where it's like everything is blissed out and you may not just feel safe with like the direction of your purpose or something, your bank account's probably looking pretty good. Okay? So 5 things. That's kind of how your marker is. But you write them all down, right? And you want to get as deep as you can. Like, I don't feel safe with this relationship all the way. I don't feel safe with my future. I don't feel safe with my past. I don't feel safe with my parents. And when I say safe, like, what does safety actually mean? Safety means uncertain, and it's going to keep you in a constant state of survival, which means if you have to be on edge or guarded or aware to an attack, that is the reference and meaning of quantum safety. Okay, so it's like safety, lack of safety keeps you in a state of fight or flight, like not knowing what's going to happen next, worried about the past, blah, blah, blah. That's going to keep your nervous system constantly triggered no matter what. Okay, so safety is usually one that will also create huge body issues. Okay, it'll create all kinds of malfunction in the body, because then guess what? The very thing that I call home is not safe. So safety is a huge rooted one for light workers, because we kind of were taught not to be safe to be ourselves right away. And that could be one. I don't feel safe to be authentic. I don't feel safe to post what I want on Facebook because I'm afraid of what's going to happen. I don't feel safe to tell my truth. Get real. Get real with yourself. Okay? I don't feel safe to tell my, kids, I don't feel safe to do this. Like, get real. And you know what? Spend as much time as you can, because the deeper you can get into the rooted unconsciousness of it, the more you would bring light to it. Because as I look at something and I'm light, bringing my photonic energy, I'm breaking up half of this vibration just by noticing it, by bringing the unconscious conscious. Okay, so that's really important that you bring the unconscious conscious. Okay, so then you do that. And you write down all of those things that make you feel unsafe, okay? And the list may be 15 pages. You may start channeling your inner child and talking about something that happened when you're 8 that you still don't feel safe in regards. Your mind is the place that you don't feel safe with, because your mind is holding the memories of everything, and also observing the present moment as either a survival mechanism or a future thriving point. So if you're in any sort of defensive mind functioning in the present moment, that's coming from safety issues. So write them all out, okay? And the only thing that I want you to do when you write these all out is I want you, it's like an I spy game inside of your unconscious. Like, I spy, this, I don't feel safe. I don't feel this. I don't feel safe with this. I don't feel safe with this. I don't feel safe with this, okay? Get it all out. And then what I want you to do is I want you to really take responsibility and look at this and read each one out loud to yourself, because we've gotten the subconscious out, and then I'm going to read it back to myself so that the me, myself, and I are very aware of where we are vibrating right now. And it's almost like just this acceptance point. This is not for you to go into guilt and shame or go into judgment with yourself. Don't go, oh, I should be farther than this. I didn't know I was unsafe. Please don't do that to yourself. Don't shit on yourself. Literally. Just read it and go, well, that explains a lot. And usually what I've noticed when I do this is I have this sense of peace wash over me, because I'm like, this is why I don't have money. Like, there's just this sense of like, okay, awesome. I have just found the root cause of where the hell my billions and millions of dollars is that I deserve, that have been in vibrational escrow since I've asked the first time when I was 1 year old for whatever. It's all been sitting there, because when you ask, it's given. Okay, so it's literally just waiting for these 4 frequencies to switch, because you cannot have something that you're not. And if you're vibrating, I am safe, the universe has to do everything in its power to reflect that story back to you. okay? So accept everything on that list. Okay, now, because again, that's the problem list. We can't solve the problem in the problem. See, money's over here, which is the physical manifestation of all these issues. And now we're kind of layering ourselves into this challenge. So now I have the things that are caused the block points. The dam in my river is right here. The dam in my river is right here. So I'm going to put this to the side. This is my frequency block list. Now I'm going to get a new piece of paper. And at the top, and even at the top of that paper, you could say, you know, I am not safe, and you can list all of those things, because that's the character that you're actually vibrating that's keeping money away. So you're taking ownership and responsibility for that list. Then you start a new one, and it's I am safe, which is your positive affirmation, right? Your positive intention. And then you're going to I spy everything in your reality that actually brings you to a state of feeling safe, okay? That allows you to be safe within your physical reality, like your pillow, your candles, your crystals, your higher perspective that you can find, your YouTube videos that you watch, your favorite books that bring you safety and comfort. You know, some people have said just listening to the sound of my voice makes them feel comfortable. Throw my name on the list. That's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? Like whatever brings you safety and peace and certainty, you write on that list. And I want that list to be as big as you can make it. I want you to really stretch, because you are more safe than you know you are. And you need to be able to identify, because the brain is always searching for problems. It's always looking for the one thing that's holding you back. And it's time for you to take stock in everything that you have to work with vibrationally that can catapult you and catalyst you into abundance. So every single thing that is literally in your vibration that helps you feel safe. Your laptop computer helps you stay connected. Your phone keeps you connected. Everything that makes you feel safe. The memories that you go to that bring you joy, like anything that creates safety, you really need to stretch here. And then what I want you to do is, once you have that list, I want you to read those out loud and tell your inner child and tell your ego how safe you are. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a neutrality point with this frequency, okay? Now, the object of the game is to basically add 5 things to this positive list every day and remove 5 things from this negative list every day, okay? So my job, now that I am aware and I am responsible, the ability to respond, I have both sides of my own duality that are keeping me from living a really prosperous reality. Okay? All right. The lawn cutters are here, so I'm going to speak louder because it's right outside my window. Okay, so we've got this duality of safety right here. And don't judge which list is bigger. Just notice, this list is bigger than this list. Now, what you'll probably notice 95% of the time, your safety list, that I am safe, is much longer than the I am not safe list. It is much longer. You're going to have way more things that create safety in your reality. They might be the tiniest things, like my morning smoothie, or this song that I listen to right now, or the fact that I can see with my eyes when I'm driving, right? I mean, you've got to get really in that state of gratitude for your own safety when you're working in your plus list, when your I am list. And your I am not list is what's holding your money back, okay? So then you look at these 2 lists, you accept both of them, you read them out loud to yourself, you blow some charge. You're going to blow some charge in your body, because what you're going to do is you're going to start to realize you have the answers to this. And like everyone has always said, the money's inside of you. So it's like one of these is the key to unlock abundance, and one of the key is to close the abundance. And you've had this key your whole time. This might be the most important class I've ever done in TICA, okay? So you have the keys. Nothing, believe it or not, the money that comes in the mail, or your paycheck, or your investor, or your beneficiary that pops up out of the blue, is going to come from this plus list, not from this minus list. This minus list is when the IRS finds you, or you know, you get this tax stuff, or you get your money taken from your identity theft, right? So it's like your projection of your reality is coming from these two lists. So now you've got the plus list and you've got the minus list. And what you want to do is, it's a scale. So now that things are maybe balanced or slightly unbalanced, what you want to do is you want to create a tipping point of this lower frequency that brings it into abundance itself, which means your job is now to figure out how to delete this list, okay, and add to the safety list. So you're going to be adding 5 things to your safety list every single day, and you're going to figure out, and this is where your physical action has got to take, because this is an action game. You've got to figure out how to delete 5 things from your lack of safety list every day. Don't do this every week. How fast do you want to go? How fast do you want your money line to clean up? Okay. So how I would do that is I would look at both lists. Wow, look at me and do out. Look how powerful I am. I'm an alchemist. This is badass. So I got to remove this list and I've got to add to this list every single day, which means that I have to be aware, I have to be present, and I have to be responsible for my vibration. I have to be totally accountable to myself. So what can I add to my safety list today? 5 things. This doesn't need to cost money. This could be like that I spend more time in nature. That makes me, this could mean that, you know, I go out and get that comforter that I've been wanting to cuddle with. That could be, you know, I call and check on somebody that I've been thinking about. This could be, I change my diet. Like I eat healthier foods today. That's going to bring me more safety in how my body feels. I'm going to do more of this abundance game. Just by doing this abundance game, that's adding one to your list, okay? I'm going to listen to my new music instead of my old music, which we've been talking about in TICA as far as time travel, listening to brand new music instead of the old music. So that's going to help you raise your frequency. So this is a frequency game, okay? So to recap, to make sure you guys are fully in understanding of this, you're going to find the shadow elements in your unconscious and subconscious by bringing them conscious. You're going to own and honor both aspects of those, which means you're going to accept the negative safety alignment and then the positive safety alignment you have in your life. You're going to look at both of them, you're going to accept both of them, and then you're going to add 5 abundant safety elements to your list every day, and you're going to remove 5. Now that's going to be your challenge, the removal, because some of those things could be people. Some of those things could be physical things you're doing automatically. It could be your diet. It could be your self-talk. It could be the music you're listening to. It could be the house you're in. So that's where your action side is going to test your abundance. Okay, if you're not willing to change anything on this safety list that's causing your abundance, then you're not going to be able to move forward, because it is both sides have to be worked in. You can't just go, well, I can't change any of that, I'm just going to add, because you're not honoring your own duality points. It's like, now I will tell you, if you leave this negative list here, this negative safety list there, and you don't take any of it away and you just add positive aspects, that will work eventually, because it will tip the scales. But you know how the brain works. The brain is going to be focused on your minus list constantly. You could have 200 things that bring you safety, and you could have 5 things that are in the way of your safety, and your brain is going to be hyper aware of that list so much more than the positives. Because gratitude is our natural state of being, so we don't use it in the mental components of ourselves, which means our natural human belief systems is to go towards the problem, to go towards the suffering, to go towards the lack. We're trying to fix that math equation and balance out the lack, but you can't do that in lack. So, and I'm doing this right now in my physical reality. I'm playing this game right now in my physical reality. I'm adding 5 safety elements and I'm removing 5 safety elements a day. And it's not like I can take 5 things off those lists. If there's only 5 things on your list, you don't have to take 5 things off your list every day, but you do need to take 1. You need to take 1, which means this would be a 5-day game. And if there's 86 negatives on there and you did 5 a day, right? Do the math, right? It's like 8, 9, right? Like 9. So it's like however you want to do this. To me, I encourage you guys This is our awakening of I demonstrate. Wouldn't you love to demonstrate to yourself how abundant you actually are? Now there's also 4 games that have to be played. Now, this is going to be kind of up to how ADD and multidimensional you actually are. I can play all 4 of these games at one time. Okay, I can create my safety, my freedom, my deserving, and my worth all in the same time. Like I can be working in 4 games. And I recommend you doing that because what you'll notice is when you clean up your safety, you immediately begin to feel more worthy. When you clean up your freedom issues, you begin to naturally feel more deserving and more worthy. Okay, so I would recommend kind of at least maybe not working in all 4 games if that's too much for you right now, but I would recommend actually having it all on the table, because it's almost like when you're upset with someone and you don't know really what's going on, if you could just get everything out on the table, it's almost like part of the problem disappears, because at least you may still be in conflict with the situation, but at least you're aware of it. And if you're aware of it, then you can create a solution and see how we're creating the solution in a game. So in my teachings, I'm always trying to integrate the me, myself, and I in any component that we do in shadow work, because it needs to be fun and it needs to be something that the ego can control tangibly. And the I am needs this to go towards truth, or it has no interest. If it doesn't associate with truth, the I am is like, okay, whatever, just go do it, you know, and come back to me when we're in alignment. But the inner child is going to be like, oh, this is an I spy game. And see how much better I feel when I just realize that this relationship that I'm not being truthful with right here is keeping my money away. Because see, what happens is, I hear this a lot, like, well, I'm unhappy in my marriage, but I can't leave because he pays the bills. Do you see how right there that that's a contradiction of any money that could flow to you? As long as you believe that any outside force controls your abundance, that's a safety issue. If you believe you can't trust the universe right now, that's a safety issue. Like if right now, I don't know if the universe actually is going to bring me anything, that's a safety issue. You don't trust the universe. You don't trust God. You don't trust, you know, your business partner. You don't trust this. That needs to be uncovered, which means that even though you're a light worker, you don't want to say it out loud, like, okay, where the hell is the universe? It's not showing up to me. But if you're running a safety program or a freedom program, the universe is like, I can't bypass your free will. Your frequency is too strong. You can't see me. So it's almost like the leap of faith is the shift in frequency. It's like leaving the abusive husband without a paycheck is actually going to free you to rendezvous you with the paycheck. I promise you guys, I would not lead you astray in this. This is how I've lived my entire life since I woke up. And I have never had a net under me. I've never had a plan B. I've never had a benefactor. I've never really even established a huge amount of credit with myself, because it was like I didn't want to give myself anything outside of myself that was going to help create my reality, so I would get stuck in that reality. I wanted to keep myself comfortably uncomfortable, so that I was always having to use the inside forces to create the outside world, because it's really easy to believe that your abundance comes from your paycheck, and that is not true. That is one tiny way that the universe can flow power and energy to you, okay? Now, one of the things that I have created in my reality is this opportunity where as long as I feel safe and free, money is always showing up. And it doesn't come through me showing up for you all the time. It comes through any crack of resistance that I'm allowing, which means as many doors as I have opened for myself is where I'm allowing money to flow, which means you have to learn to receive. But think about it. If you're running a safety program, you're not going to feel safe to receive, because there's going to be an agenda or an outcome on the other end of receiving. Also, receiving makes you feel weak and small, which makes you not feel safe. Get rid of it. So if one of your safety issues is I'm not safe to receive, please, please call that out. I spy that. I spy it immediately, okay? You've got to have everything. I don't feel safe when my husband says this. I don't feel safe when this happens. Anytime you're contracting into yourself and your fight or flight turns on, you don't feel safe. And anytime your freedom is jeopardized, you're going to go into survival mode, because you're like a caged spirit in that body and you do not want your freedom taken. Which is why anyone tells you what to do, you immediately are trying to figure out how to get out of that, even if it's a good idea, because it's like it triggers your PTSD of your freedom elements. Okay. All right. So then when we go in, I would recommend working in the, if you're on a time construct, I would recommend that you work on your safety and freedom right now, because worth and deserving are really easy to find and clear and create once the cupcake icing is removed, which is kind of like, if we were going to go in vibrational elements, it would be like worth, right? Deserving, freedom, safety, money. So we got to get all the way down to the bottom. And anybody who feels inspired to actually create a PDF game of this, I think that that would be amazing. And we could put it as a downloadable on the TICA website, and we can share in any profits that we make if we end up doing this for a selling point later on in the future as a workshop or something. So just throwing that out there, you guys. Any of you guys that love to create these things, because not my highest joy. Once it's out, it's done. But I do believe that a tangible abundance game would be really awesome to create. So any of you creatives out there, we could even make it a TICA, could even make it where we all contribute something, and we can share in anything that comes from it, because you guys are abundant. Now, if you notice that your freedom is going to be connected with your creativity, your sexuality, your money, your body, your time, your relationships. So make sure that when you're looking for the I Spy, right, that you use the time, relationships, health, and money as a marker to dig down deep into shadows. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what else I don't feel safe with, go, okay, where do I not feel safe with time? Where do I not feel safe with money? Where do I not feel safe with my relationship? Where do I not feel safe with myself? Where do I not feel safe with others? You know, it's kind of like Karen, I know a lot of you guys watched the video last night that we did together on Wow Wednesday from Spirituality Gone Wild. And if you guys are not aware of Karen, she is a powerhouse angel, channel, teacher, mentor, guide. And she openly basically exposed herself in the interview last night saying, you know, I don't feel safe with people. And here she is working with people, you know, and she's got this beautiful nonprofit that she'd be making millions of dollars to take care of children all over the world, and it's not making a profit. So again, we found her safety issues. So she's going to play this game. And so it doesn't matter how big you are or how abundant you are. Don't go into any pride issues about, well, I don't need those games. Like, we all need these games because we're all disassociated from some part of our own truth. Okay? So I recommend playing these games. Again, adding 5 positive elements, removing 5 negative elements, which means you're going to have to take some action steps on both sides. You're going to have to ask your inner child. You're going to have to ask ego. You're going to have to ask I am. What brings us safety? What brings us freedom? What would we have to do to feel worthy? What will we have to feel to get to understand deserving, right? And then we have to actually act that game out. It could be as much as on this plus side of your game, you have to have a conversation with someone. You have to say, you know what, I don't feel safe when this energy happens. And so what I'm going to do that I added to my plus list is that when we start to fight or argue, I'm going to give myself some time and space to go collect myself to find out how I really feel about what's happening. And so I can identify what I need, and then we can come back and have a conversation. And that could be something that you add, right? That is something that I have implemented in this particular relationship that I'm in right now, and it is going surprisingly well. It's turned into the most amazing partnership that I could ever create for myself. And the one thing that I am doing differently in this relationship is I'm being really, really honest with my own PTSD. That is going away, ironically, because I'm owning it. So, like, you know, if he says something in a tone, like the tone reminds me of a tone from the past, we all know what that is, where it's like maybe condescending or a little passive aggressive, my body just goes into fight or flight, and I become that person that did something wrong. And so instead of going into defense and attacking his perspective, I go, oh, I'm being triggered by the past through the person I love. thank you for the trigger. And then I say, hey, I tell them I'm triggered. It's not you. It's the vibration of that tone. I need some time and space to find out how I actually feel about this so that I just don't dump all of this old energy on you. And he's like, yeah, right. Then go back, come back. Wasn't you. Thank you. Basically what you did is you pulled up an old wound that I really needed to process anyways, because once you clear it, you feel totally different about it, because it's never, ever, ever the reasons you think you're upset, ever. That's the first rule of Fight Club, is you're never upset for the reasons you think, right? It's like anything that you're upset with in the present moment is a restimulation from the past, which is why this game is going to bring the unconscious, the subconscious to the conscious. The conscious can take responsibility and integrate all of this new energy into a positive place for you. So if you have any questions about this game at all, throw your questions in the comments, and I can do an addendum if you need more clarity. But I feel like this is a really simple game that is going to take you time and space and energy to create. But think about it. This game is the easy button. This game is the access point, which means stop working 80 hours a week trying to earn more money. The universe wants to pay you to be yourself. And you doing this, you can become more of yourself, which means you become more whole when you complete this game. And the wholeness of you is the diamond. The separated parts of you is the dirt. You gotta bring yourself together, okay? So I want you to play this abundance game. I want you guys to be in Miami or in the next tour whenever this video is played. If this video is played in a year from now, play this abundance game for 1 week, right? I'm going to offer to TICA students only, and this is Facebook, and this is Facebook, and this is TICA Academy, that if you really want to be in Miami, then I will personally set up a payment plan for you for your tickets. I can't do that for your airfare, and I cannot do that for your room, but Pamela will do everything in her power to get you into a room share so that your housing or your room is affordable for those 3 days, okay? And you could also say, hey, I live in, you know, wherever, New York. Does anybody want to drive with me, right? So again, do not let your lack of money dictate who you let yourself become. Become who you are, and the money will surround and engulf your life. It will come from everywhere, okay? I'm having to do this game on the regular because I'm creating such a new big reality for myself, which has not been easy when you have old survival issues running, okay? So I'm doing this right along with you guys, and it is the most important game you'll ever play for your own abundance and freedom, okay? There's other vibrations, but these are the ones I want you guys in and clearing and healing so that you can create this beautiful space and sanctuary for your new life to unfold. Okay? I love you all. We're really just a secret for you guys is we're really trying to create on the tour flow a way to live stream this event. The capabilities right now of doing that are 50-50, but I am throwing it out there that it is a possibility that we will be able to live stream this event. Now, mind you, you'll probably only get 50% of the effect if you're not physically there, but you will still get a lot because, you know, it's frequency, but there will be a lot of elements that are in the physical reality that the body will be able to tune to. So even though you'll get 50% of it, it won't be the maximum. Plus, we won't have 25 cameras to be everywhere. So you'll get probably 1 or 2 perspectives. You'll get the frequency downloads. But then again, my question for the director and my videographer is if I'm running a gamma frequency, am I going to be able to hold the Wi-Fi stream? Because gamma is the frequency of source energy. That's the frequency I'm going to be bringing in for all 3 days, and I don't know how it's going to affect our sound system or our Wi-Fi connection. So we're actually doing some test runs with that today to see if that's even going to be an option. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this class. I hope that you play this abundance game until you're all millionaires, and then share your stories, because it's not about $1 million, but you are $1 million. You're $1 billion, and you deserve to have a reflection of who you really are inside of you, outside of you. None of you came here to work. You all came to play, and this is a game that will bypass a lot of your work ethic or work efforts. Okay? All right. I love you all, and I will see you soon.